Hello folks, hope you're having a really good week, or the start of your week anyway. The rain is back here in the UK, which is nice. I love rain, brilliant. If you like what I do, the subscribe button is down below. The Patreon button is also down below. If you want to be involved in the prize draw that we have going on the 3rd of September, that is Sunday the 3rd of September, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel. If you are, then you will be entered into the prize draw. If you're subscribed to the channel Patreon, you will be entered into the prize draw on the 3rd of September for £100 worth of models from Composite Games. We are also giving away a repulsor battle tank on the same day, so if you want to be involved in either of those two prize draws that will be taking place on Sunday the 3rd of September, make sure you are subscribed to our Patreon or you head on over to become a member of the channel. Either of those two things supports me financially and you're a legend for doing so. I do those prize draws as a nice thank you to you who are supporting me financially. Thank you very, very, very much. It always is appreciated. If you're getting any models recently, then make sure you head on over to Composite Games and use the promo code Northern Exile down below to get yourself 5% off at checkout. Right, getting into the hobby nightmares. Okie dokie. Tarcoat says, Dear Sir Exile, I have recently found your channel and I've been binge watching the Hobby Nightmares, which has inspired me to write to you my own nightmare. Okay. Sorry if this is long, in a mess, and hard to read. I am not great at storytelling and I am dyslexic. For a bit of context about me, I have been in the hobby since the early 2000s, with a few breaks here and there. I am an Eldar player, and they have been my favourite army ever since I started in the hobby. I have never been good at the game, with more losses than wins, but I know how the game and rules work. Even though I don't play as much as most people, especially in recent years, all this will make sense for what is about to come. A proviso, by the way, this story deals with an online portion, so yeah, that's what we're going into, because the world is moving more and more into a digital age, and most of I've come across a fair few nightmares now that have been sent in that have been about literal, the breakup of Discord servers and things like that. This isn't quite that level. It is real life as well. But anyway, moving on. This nightmare happened fairly recently in the dreaded 9th edition of Warhammer 40,000, just when the Eldar Codex had come out. I had just come in from a long day at work and put on my friend's stream where he was talking about potentially needing to be errated. Okay, what was needing to be errated? Okay, errated, to people who don't know, that means things that are changed in the rules. So a rule that needs changing because it's not quite working properly, right? Or is written wrong in the rules as they are. So this guy is on a stream talking about what needs to be changed. The rule they were talking about was the Wave Serpent / Falcon transport rule. For those who don't know it, it reads, verbatim, and I quote, This rule has a transport capacity of 12, 6 if it is a Falcon. Phoenix Lord, Aranthi Infantry, and Asarani Craftworld infantry models may be taken in the transport. Each Wraith construct model takes the place of 2 infantry models. It cannot transport jump pack models. End quote. Someone in the chat said that you can put the avatar of Cain, Wraith Lord or Wraith Knight into a Wave Serpent or Falcon. So me, being puzzled, grabbed my codex and did a bit of research, flicking back and forth, checking the datasheets, the keywords, and the rule for the tanks in the codex, and the ones in the core rules. After reading and double checking a lot, making sure I'm reading it right, I just couldn't see how it was being read like that. I mention it in chat and say it can't happen, as they aren't infantry and are a monster or Titanic which can't go in transport. That is true. That is true. So normally, when you're looking at rules, this is how I've been taught to do it anyway. The core rules supersede everything else, unless something in your codex says that rule in your core rules doesn't affect this. So if you have a monster that can go in a vehicle, a monstrous creature that can go in a vehicle, it will say there will be a special rule that allows it to do so, right? Okay. At this time, I was in a group chat with all the people I used to go to the hobby with, and people I have known for my whole hobby life. These guys know the ins and outs of pretty much everything to do with the hobby. They happily share leaks, in which I especially hated it when the Eldar leaks came into the vocal chat, and I was very vocal about not wanting to hear leaks like this. They also play the game a lot more than me and are tournament players. The chat was pretty much run by one guy who was like the ringleader in a way, and the rest were kind of like sheep. On to the most fun part. I sent my revelation, sorry I pressed the wrong button there, I sent my revelation into this group chat. Instant regret. They were saying that I was wrong, and the rule needs to be errated to say that Wraith Construct needs the infantry keyword after it to go in the vehicle. As without the infantry keyword, it reads that you can put the Avatar, Wraith Lord and Wraith Knight into the transports, as the sentence is a separate interaction to the first part. 1 second, I'm hearing some shouting downstairs. 1 sec. Right, somebody laughing, no problem. I thought we were getting robbed then for a second. I was like, oh my god. Okay, I'm going to read that last bit again. I argued against it, saying there is no way this rule can be read like that, and surely the transport rule in the core rules says you can't do this, and that the first sentence clearly states infantry models and nothing else, so you can't do that. Yeah, that's true. Alright, so what you're doing here is you're arguing against the room of people who don't want to argue with logic. It is what it is. Right? They've decided on what's right. If everybody in the room disagrees with you, just know you're right and move on. Right? It's hard to argue with somebody who is intelligent. It is impossible to argue with an idiot. This is what it is. But no, they weren't having any of it. I got pretty much ganged up on. They made me feel like I knew nothing about the game because I don't play as much as them and don't do tournaments, and saying something along the lines of, "You are arguing with tournament players, we know how the rules work." Okay. I replied by saying something like, "I don't care, and being a tournament player or not doesn't matter. You guys can get the rules wrong as much as I can." I'm not going to lie, I did get a little bit heated and was losing my head a little, as it felt like I wasn't being listened to, and being ginger probably doesn't help. Don't be hard on yourself, dude. Having no soul because you're a ginger doesn't mean that you can't be angry from time to time. I did take swipes at the few who were arguing against me by saying that they were sheep and whatever the ringleader says goes, and no one can have a say, as he said that the rule will get errated, as it is in a list of rules to get errated that they had come up with, and that is with that is being sent to somebody who has links to Games Workshop or something like that. Okay, this is getting very rambly. I can't remember the importance of the guy. I then got kicked from the chat. I was super pissed and messaged, why did I get kicked out of the chat? And the guy said, "I don't know, it was funny." Okay, yeah, I mean, dude, you just don't belong there. And these are the worst aspects of tournament players coming out and basically being shown to you because they are behind a screen. You know, tournament players can be very, very nice, I don't doubt it, but this lot, not so much. They clearly made me feel so small, worthless, stupid, and that I didn't know what I was talking about and didn't feel like I was being listened to at all. I didn't get a single reply that would say, "We get what you were saying, but..." It was pretty much like, "No, you are wrong, it reads like this." And yeah, I may not have helped myself too, or at least you're admitting that as well. Not being listened to is the worst part. I've had arguments like this in the past, right, but I know verbatim that I'm right. Right? You know, I've had people argue with me about history before who don't have a clue. Who do not have a clue. I have literally just given them evidence, told them what to read up, and said, "That's not right, this is right." And they still argue the point, and you just feel like you're not being listened to. And I've started saying this, man. I said it earlier on, right? I said it earlier on. It's, if they push me too far, I will literally say, it's hard to argue with somebody who's intelligent, but if you have facts, they'll agree with you. It's impossible to argue with an idiot. And it shuts down the entire conversation, right? It just shuts it all down. And they get very heated, they get annoyed, and they walk away. But I'd rather that than sit there and argue with these people over and over and over again when you know you're right. When you know you're wrong and you're intelligent, you take it and go, "Nah, that's right. I've been told I'm wrong on this very channel a few times. And I've accepted it and changed because I think, oh yeah, that's probably a good idea," right? The new format being one of them. The new format to our Hobby Nightmares being one of them. It takes intelligence to do that and balls to do that. Just to sit there and say somebody's wrong because even when you're presented with facts saying, no, you're wrong, in fact, yeah, that's a moron, dude. You can't argue with morons. A few weeks later, I met up with the guy who was the streamer and someone else who is a fellow Eldar player. We were both in the group chat, and I was closer to these two than any of the rest of the chat, and they weren't involved in what had happened. Meeting them was basically an intervention about what had happened that day, and they explained why they read it that way in the rules, as it may happen in tournaments, but I also wasn't wrong, but everybody involved didn't handle the situation well at all. Apparently, I got kicked because I was being overly negative quite a lot. Right, okay. This will be the last time I jump in with this story. I've had people like this on the channel, and every single thing I do on the channel, they're negative about. And even when I follow their advice and I start choosing to read hobby nightmares that are more geared to what they like, just as an experiment to see what they do, they still complain. This has happened before. I've had people who come into my streams just to complain. For no reason. It just everything that they see in front of them, they put a downer on. And those people, I'll never ban people from watching my content. I can, but I never do, right? I'm never going to do that. Unless you're completely beyond the pale and you're an idiot, right? Who just insults people. Then I would, but like somebody who just disagrees with me a lot, I'll never ban you. But there have been a few times, even on stream, where I've had to say, listen, dude, do you have anything positive to say? And they always fall back on, well, you know, I'm just being honest. No, dude, you're being a twat. You're being a twat. Okay? Like, you must have other thoughts that are more positive. Because if you don't, why are you watching my content? You know? So I get where they're coming from, dude. If you're in their chat all the time, naysaying people, and being the devil's advocate, and being au contraire, and wagging your finger at people, I can see that they, in the end, they go, do you know what? This is our space. You can disagree with us respectfully, you know. But like, if everything you say disagrees with us, why the fuck are you here? And I'm the same way, right? You can disagree with me as much as you want. I don't mind that. But if it's getting to the point where you're getting angry at things that I'm saying or things that I'm doing on the channel, and you keep coming back to say the same shit every single week, why are you here? Leave. Go and watch somebody else. You know, I'm not a big YouTuber. As such, I see most forms of feedback that I get. I can completely see where they're coming from, dude. I know you didn't expect me to say that, but I do. I see where they're coming from. If you're in there all the time, bringing shit down, and you know, being the au contraire, well, you know, that kind of a thing, then I can definitely see, you know, them eventually getting tired of it. Because I do, and I've told people before, like, just don't come back. Then go watch something else. Go chill out. Like, stop. It literally, is it your hobby to be on this channel and like run things down that aren't really affecting your life? Come on, dude. You know, and I think they're feeling the same way towards you. To be honest with you, contradicting opinions, totally fine. Not agreeing with me, totally fine. Being down on everything that a group does will only get you ostracized from that group eventually. It's just going to happen. Doesn't matter whether it's Horror Heresy, whether it's Warhammer, Magic the Gathering, doesn't matter what it is. If you go in there and you're not pleasant to be around, eventually those people will tell you to get the fuck out. It's a hobby to them. It is what it is. Anyway. By the way, you know, I accept dissenting opinions, because when I get them in and I think they're a good idea, I run with them. Hence the new format of Hobby Nightmares and things like that, right? When I'm wrong and I think you're right, I accept it and I move on. When I make changes. Anyway. Only time I can recall being negative was about the leaks and the interaction. Yeah, but if that's happening all the time, dude, you're saying you've been negative in one type of interaction. But if that interaction is going on all the time, when leaks come out, you know? But apparently, I have been negative towards the fellow Eldar player when I messaged him personally about the mistake with the Striking Scorpions war gear options, which meant you couldn't use the current kit's Exarch with the scorpion's claw, which was also pictured on the datasheet. I was saying that it was a mistake and it will be changed. He replied saying that he doesn't think it was a mistake and that our new kit, which is needed, may be coming out later in the edition. I disagreed, but kept my cool head, saying that they wouldn't have a picture of this loadout on the datasheet if this was the case, and that there won't be new kits, and it's a mistake on Games Workshop's part. That's me being negative, apparently, and I felt I wasn't. Dude, I hate to say this. I really want to come down on your side, but, like, again, you're not being negative, but you are being, you know, you are pushing your glasses up your nose. Actually, you know, you're being one of those. I can see people getting tired of that, especially if you're going out of your way to message them privately. Come on, dude. No one cares. If I got a message like that, I wouldn't even reply. I was like, who the fuck are you? Like, just go away. You know, unless you're a patron, then fine. You know, if you're paying me to talk to me, fine. You know, once or twice a week, I go on my Patreon and I reply to everybody because it's polite. You know, it's what you do. I'm beholden to them. But, like, if you're just a random giving me an email saying, well, actually, I think you got this wrong, I'll be like, well, I don't care. I don't care. Like, because, like, why are you reaching out? I'll read it and I'll internalize it, but I'm not going to reply. Like, I don't have enough time in the day. Like, do you have time? Outcomes for the FAQ for the Codex. The Striking Scorpion's Exarch did get corrected, and the transport rule from earlier was nowhere to be seen in the FAQ. Very hard not to be smug about this. I don't think you're finding it hard not to be smug. I'm going to be honest. I think you are smug. I don't think you're trying at all. This interaction nearly made me quit the hobby because of the way they made me feel. But it has put me off of playing Eldar. Why? Why? Again, you're taking it far too seriously, dude. This is like life and death to you. Playing all these years and knowledge of the game felt like nothing. Luckily, my brother and my girlfriend managed to talk me out of it, and we came up with what I should do next. Since what happened, I don't speak to any of them anymore, good, and don't travel where I used to game with them, which has meant that I have had to look elsewhere to find new people to do the hobby with. Looking around, I have explained to people what had happened, and they were baffled by what had happened, and they don't understand how the group chat was reading the rule like that, and that they were wrong. Okay. I am yet to join a community, as I am a really shy person, but I have found places I can play. Good. I also have gotten someone who I used to work with back into the hobby, as he always wanted to get back into it, after I offered him a taster game in which he enjoyed, and now has a nice Death Guard army, and all the games we have played in 9th were so much fun. I got 2 people who I work with in the hobby who both picked Necrons. We have all played one. So you have a new group, dude. Excellent. Sorry this has been so long to read, and I hope it goes well. Thank you for reading it. Everybody on the channel, enjoying the channel a lot, and you are a king. Cheers, man. Okay, that's cool, man. I accept that. That's really, really cool. I hope you're doing well. The thing is, right, I think you're taking it the wrong way. Okay, I think you're taking it the wrong way. People that you're coming to saying that they interpreted the rules this way, can you believe that? They'll go, no, because that's ridiculous. And even I'm sitting here, I'm on your side. You could hear me before. I was on your side saying, no, that's ridiculous. They're reading the rules wrong. But I try and you know take both sides. I can see why they would. If you this is like the 20th interaction where you've been like, actually, and you're messaging people in private saying, actually, I think you'll find, dude, I wouldn't want. Even if you're right, I wouldn't want someone like that around me. That would be exhausting. Like, all right, dude. Okay, right. We get it. Okay, you know, it's like one of them. It's called reading the room. Just called reading the room. The best way to put it out there would be to say your piece and then just move on. And if they say you're wrong, say, well, I think I'm right. Well, you know, I accept your opinion, right? I think I'm right. And I think I'll be proved right in time. And then move on, right? Sitting there and arguing the toss over a game of toy soldiers in a chat isn't the best way to spend your time. Just going to come out there and say it, right? And I can honestly see why people would get run down, because at the end of the day, this is a hobby that we do for fun. This is a channel that I do for fun, right? And the minute it stops becoming fun because you've only ever got a negative comment to make, yeah, it's the boy who cried wolf. If someone who has come to me and said, hey, I love your channel, but I don't like this, I will listen to that. I'll go, oh, hang on, well, this guy likes my channel, but this isn't working for him. I'll make a mental note of that, and if it happens another couple of times, I'll change that thing. Hence us changing the Hobby Nightmares thing around, right? But if somebody's always negative, and always a downer, and always bitching and moaning and complaining, and then they complain about something that's legit, I will disregard what they said. Accidentally. Because I'll go, no, because you're always fucking negative. Right? You're always au contraire. You're always telling me I'm wrong. So why would I take any... Do you know what I'm saying? It just, yeah. So if you're messaging people from this place, unsolicited, that you don't really know, and saying you're wrong on these rules, yeah, that's a bit much. That's a bit much, dude. You know? I'm really glad you're finding your way in the hobby again. But try not to take other people having a different opinion to you in the hobby to heart. Because you won't be here for very long if you do, you know? Anyway. Gravenlock says, Howdy North, Games Workshop manager here in the UK. I'm still working for the company, so I'm going to keep this brief and make sure that no identifying things are in this story. Okay. This should be interesting. A former colleague, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Just to get this out of the way, I love my store. I've been running it for upwards of 5 years now. I think it's mostly nearer to 7, but, you know, I lose track of time. I love my customer base, and I love the company and the product that we sell. You sound like an ideal Games Workshop manager, man. As you know, Games Workshop stores are not allowed to play games in their stores for the most part. I was also heavily dissuaded from running them at several training days. But I did it anyway, in secret, thinking it would foster a really good atmosphere with the store. This is the story about my one and only warning from the company, and even then, it was half-hearted. Okay. One gamer in the store, we will call Gabe. He liked to come into the store with a lot of Forge World models. Now, you are not supposed to play with Forge World models in the store. That is a general rule. I'll let you explain why that is. Okay, well, thank you for the segue. He tells a manager, he's already telling me what to do. So, the reason why Games Workshop stores don't let you play Forge World, if they would let you play games, is because they don't sell Forge World product in the store. They will only ever let you play with what they sell. Or what they can order on the computer. They can order Forge World stuff on the computer to get sent to the store, but their store sees none of the money for that purchase. Okay? Whereas if I print off what I do on the computer, if you get something that I don't have in stock but Games Workshop carry, I will go to my computer, I will print out a receipt for it, I will scan it as if the model is right there, you pay for it there and then, and it's ordered to the store for the next delivery, and it'll be there a couple of days later, free postage, you come and pick it up, right? That's how it works. And we get the money for that, because we did the scanning of the receipt, right? Which is great. We can't do that with Forge World models, and so we don't let Forge World models be used in the store to dissuade people from making it like a Forge World place. If you want to play Forge World, Games Workshop want you to take your extra special stuff and go and play it in the extra special place, and that's Warhammer World, or at home, right? Not at the Games Workshop store. There we go. But I tended to let it go. Forge World models for me are beautiful, and they tend to get people in the hobby. Yeah, I agree. Gabe, in the store, was a bit of an acquired taste. He was always telling grand stories about himself and one-upping his friends. It's been said that if you told Gabe you've just been to Tenerife on holiday, that was nothing, because he's just come back from 11 Tenerife. This is brilliant. I'm nicking that. I'm stealing that. That was brilliant. Told you, if you told Gabe you've just been to Tenerife, that was nothing. He's just been to 11 Tenerife. Genius, man. Genius. Any game you won nearby would generate a loud, shouty story from Gabe about how he has won battles very similar to yours, but alas, of course, they were much harder and much larger. People tended to ignore him after a while when he went on one of these little tangents. There was nothing wrong with him mentally. The guy had a decent job and friends. That was me, by the way. A decent job and friends. He was just a bit of a bullshitter, and also loved the sound of his own voice. There was an unwritten rule in the store that if an area manager was on their way to the store, the code word would be raspberries, because I would always be warned that one such manager was on his way. I simply said this, and people put their Forge World models away. They would be on their best behaviour, and they would step away from the gaming table, even if it's in the middle of the game, where I would place a load of terrain and starter models, making out like I have 2 intro areas. You're a genius, mate. You're a genius. You're playing 4D chess is what you're doing. Okay, because 2 intro areas, an area manager's going to love that. He's going to love that, especially if you've got a store helper. I'm guessing you have a staff member. But anyway. Everybody in the store knew these rules, and Gabe was there when I called a store meeting to lay them out to my regular customers. One such day comes around, and I pass the word around. Gabe is in the middle of a game, fielding several large Forge World models on our table, like the Mastodon and other beasts. He is smashing the player across from him, and he ignores my request to pack up so that I can make it into an intro table for the visiting area manager. I head over there to politely ask him to clear up so I can make it presentable to the area manager as he's on his way and about 5 minutes away from the store. No, I'm finishing this game. I put money in your fucking till. I am finishing this game. Okay, Gabe says. Okay, mate, if somebody swore at me as Games Workshop manager, you're gone. I don't even care if it's in context, you're gone. If you say, oh, fuck that, no, like, that's fine, I'll say, mate, can you just watch your language, there are kids around. But if you say, fucking no, like, or something like that, you're gone, mate. You're banned. Like, it's my job. Like, I'm not sitting here in my job getting sworn at by a spotty-faced, pants round his ankles neckbeard. It's not happening. Alright. I lay out, quite calmly, that my job is literally on the line here. Could you please pack up? He ignores me, and a few minutes later, when I'm trying to get him away from the table, the area manager walks in. Oh, dude, I'm going to hate this, aren't I? I'm going to hate this. He is none the wiser as he walks around the store. He even sees the gaming table, but makes no comment. Instead, he is praising the store's numbers in terms of customers and the smiles on their faces, which is great. Dude, that's cool, man. I never got that feedback. Like, all the time they would come into my store and they would see people having a good time and rolling dice and laughing and joking and having a good time, but that was never touched upon in my store, ever. It's so cool that you're getting that feedback. That's really cool. It becomes obvious to me and to others that he is hoping to forget that he saw the gaming table at all. What a Chad. I like this area manager. So he's seen your gaming table and has gone, I didn't see that, and has walked away. I head over to Gabe and tell him, quietly, that he can keep gaming, but just to keep the noise down, because I think we're going to get away with it. As he is getting rather loud and obnoxious, as he's starting to lose the game, and it's starting to draw attention. Okay. And I quote, he says, listen, we are always allowed to play Forge World models in store, okay? Leave me alone. You said we could play, and that we could play with Forge World models. He shouts. This dude's a fucking rat, mate. This dude is a ratty little cunt face. Get him in the sea. The area manager fixes him with a glare, knowing what Gabe is trying to do. The area manager points at Gabe. You, he says. Out. He points to the door. Gabe scoffs and ignores him, going back to his game. The area manager walks over to the table, placing both of his hands on the gaming table. He says, "This is private property, sir. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You are disturbing the other customers and, frankly, making my colleague's job a lot harder than it needs to be. I suggest you go home and cool off, and perhaps return another day. For now, though, you must leave, or I will call security." Wow. Wow. This dude's the coolest. I want this guy to be my dad. Like, he's the coolest. Alright. Gabe is dumbfounded. He packs up his models with a shaking hand. From rage, or because he was truly shaken, I don't know. And he heads out. We didn't see Gabe again. Apparently, he moved to a stock account down the road. The fact he tried to bubble me to management filled me with hate for the guy. My area manager turned out to be an amazing guy, who told me he didn't see any gaming table, and that he'd just kicked out a troubled customer because I was busy running the business. Then he winked at me. Oh man. No cap, I'm ready to die for this man. He helped me lock up that night, and I walked him to his train. When the report came in about my store, it was a glowing thumbs up. He's still there. He still looks out for me. But he was not in your area, unfortunately. And he goes by a different title now, of course. Anyway, I love your stuff. Dude, that was fucking brilliant. Oh, sorry, there's a little bit more here. I love your stuff. All the best, Gravenlock. Cheers, man. Absolutely fantastic. There are good people working at GW, dudes. There are good people working there, I'm telling you. Absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful stuff. The fact that that guy tried to bubble you as well, that's shitty, but don't do that. Don't do that. Don't try and make other people's lives harder just so you can play with your little toy soldiers. Don't do that. It's incredibly stupid. Anyway, love you a long time. I will speak to you tomorrow for some more hobby stuff. Some more hobby rants. We'll see what we're doing overnight. Love you a long time. Speak to you then. Have a good one. Bye now.